So today we're going to be building a password strength checker, in Python, and yeah, so that's what we're going to be working on. So just follow along. Okay, the first thing that we have to do, because we want our password strength checker to be what you can just use as a function, where you can pass in the password that you want to use within the function, and when we run the function, we'll be able to get if it is a strong password, a weak password, or a moderate password, depending on the kind of response that we define for the function. So the first thing is I'm going to say define a function and call it, say, check password strength. I'll say check password strength. Okay, and we need to pass something into the function. All right, so I will say let's pass in password, right? It could be anything, but at least it's receiving something as a parameter. So we need to now define what would be the criteria for a strong password. What would be the criteria that I want to check to understand if your password is strong or weak? So here, let me put a comment and just say define criteria, and I'll continue. So the first thing is there are different criteria that you may want to define, which is the length of the password. Should the password contain uppercase? Should it contain lowercase? Should it contain digit? Should it contain special character? So we need to define all this, and it is very important. So we're going to have the length. For example, I'll just say let's define something for the length, and yeah, let's say the length. And what should be the length? So because we're passing in password here, we can just say the length of password, whatever we pass into it, the length of whatever we pass into it. Let's say the condition. Let's say most times say password should be greater than 8 character. Okay, so we'll just say greater than or equal to 8, and yeah, we've been able to specify that for the length. So do we want it to contain uppercase? We can just say contain upper. That is, we are saying the password for it to be strong means it has to contain uppercase character. So here we can just use the any function and just say any. That is whatever they pass into password should check, of course, check for character. Then we use the upper method, verify if the character is in uppercase. I think the upper method is upper, and yeah, then we do that, and we're going to check so that it can check the password. Now that we specify, okay, character is upper, so we need to be able to check, okay, what are you checking from? So, and that is the character, whatever character is passed into it is the char that we are representing. So for us to be able to check that, we just say for char in password. So that is whatever the password is, check if the character has uppercase. Okay, we'll still set the condition, of course, to evaluate it, but these are just criteria that we are defining. Okay, then contain lowercase. Let's see, we want our password to contain a lowercase. Let me just say contain lower, and I'm going to do that just the way we did this. So I'm just going to copy whatever I have here, and I'm going to do this. So what I'm just going to change will be this is upper, and I will say it's lower, and that's it. So do we want it to contain digits? Do we want it to contain digits? Okay, maybe, but let's set it as a criteria and say contain digits, contains digits. Let's just use contain digits as the criteria that we are setting, contain digits. And how do we want to check if it contains digits? Still the same thing here. We can use the same thing, and we just change it to is digits. Okay, so right, that is it, to check if it contains digits. That's another criteria. Then we want to define, okay, the password should contain special character. So we're saying contain I will call special character like spec character, character, or let me say special char. Okay, and in this case we're going to use the any, and within the any function we're going to say char, that is the character that we're checking for in, then we set the kind of character that we want in the password to contain as part of our criteria, just like the way we did character dot is lower, but in this case we want to specify the character. So we don't have like a method, a string method like is lower for character. I don't know. Okay, is there is character? No, nothing like that. Or dot is character, just to check. Okay, so we're going to be specifying that ourselves. So we are going to, of course, be passing the different character into a string as it comes to the mind, depending on the kind of character I want to pass. So in my case, I'm going to pass a character like the hashtag, the $sign. I'm trying to, my keyboard is a bit different from the keyboard I'm used to. So I'm going to just check different character. And let me just use different character that I can find on my keyboard and just pass it into it. And let me use the different ones, asterisk, comma. What character can I use again? Okay, mark, greater than or less than, and any character. So I'll just define that into it. And yeah, that's it. So let me just be good with this one for now. You can pass in more as you deem fit, as you deem it fit. So I'm going to we're now going to do the same condition, that is to check the character in the that is passed into the function. Okay, so we're going to say for character, which is char in password. So that's it. Okay, just to balance everything. So now we've been able to like set the criteria. Now after setting the criteria, the next thing we need to do is to do the evaluation. So within that same function, how should the criteria be evaluated? So, and that is a condition that I want to set. And in Python you use, of course, the if, and there are different other ways, but in this case we're going to be using the if else statement. So the length that we define here, we're going to say the length, if the length, okay, if length, and that is if this criteria is true, like okay, contains upper and contains and this, all right, if it fulfills everything over here, and this and this, it contains digits, contains special character. Okay, that will be the condition. That is if all this criteria, if it is fulfilled. So what are we going to return? So we're going to say return strong password. That is, everything needs to be fulfilled for us to say the password is strong password. Then we need to now, okay, set the other condition for others, and we can use the elif. In this case, we now say elif. So we need to set a condition for, we don't just want to say strong and weak. We want to check something for like, okay, what would be the moderate thing that need to be fulfilled for us to have a moderate password? So in that case, we're going to use okay, some of the criteria. We're not going to use everything, so we're going to just switch things around a bit. So let's try. So elif, let's say the length of the password, and so here we're going to set a condition for the uppercase or lowercase. So we're trying to say if it contains either lowercase or uppercase, that is if it's not containing both. So instead of and here we're going to use the or condition, which means that only one of it needs to be true. Okay, so we're going to use the or, and we're just going to add contains digits. We don't really want to care if it contains special character. So, and that's it. So what we are saying here is if the length criteria is true, that is, the length needs to be greater than 8, and of course it should contain either upper letter or lower letter, then it should contain digits. So this must be fulfilled. It must fulfill this, it must fulfill this, but the or contain upper or contain lower, either of them just need to be true for us to be able to say it is a moderate password. So we're not adding that it should contain a special character. Okay, so here we're going to return moderate password, and the next thing after that is what happens if all these are not true. We just else, we define our else condition, and we just say weak password. That is, if the above, the if and else, if they are not true, return that the password is a weak password. So I'm just going to say return weak password. Okay. Yeah, and now what we need to do is we need to get, of course, be able to take an input for the password. So the user needs to be able to type in the password and check it. So to receive the input, we can just say password, that is whatever we are passing into the function, equals input. That's going to receive an input from the user, and we can just say enter a password, and that's it. So let's just do something so that it will look like they want to insert something. So we put some space in between the string, and yeah, so what would then happen after they enter the password? Very simple. So what we're going to do now is we want to check the strength of the password. The strength of the password is what I want to check next. I'm going to say strength equals, then this function will be called. And that will check password, to check for password. But in this case, we're not going to be doing this within the function. We're going to be doing it outside the function, just like this should be outside the function. Yeah, it should be outside the function. Yeah, should be outside the function. So we take the input outside the function. Also, the strength will be checked, of course, outside the function. So the function is standing there, but the function will be called from here using the strength. So the strength will receive the whatever the user inserts into this password, whatever is stored in the password, then the function will be run, or will run on the password. And what's the next thing that we want to happen? We want to print out whatever the strength is. So we could just use our print and say I want to put space between the print and the response. Okay, so here we're going to say password strength. So we just want to get the password strength, like password strength. Yeah, you can use password strength and add a comma and pass in the strength over here. Okay, and now I think we should be ready to run our code. Okay, so here I'm just going to say Python and long 5. Okay, let's run it. So enter password over here, and I'm going to use a password. Let me use YouTube 2020 as a password and see the response. It says password strength moderate password, but I don't think I like how this is printing out, so I'm gonna put this, yeah, in between, so that we are able to see that the response the way it is. So I'm gonna run it again, so and check YouTube 2030, and let me add one of the characters that we set and just say star, and that's it. You can see say password strength is strong password. That is, it fulfills the conditions that we set for a strong password. So let me check an example of a weak password. So let me just say YouTube, an example of a weak password. All right. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to run the code and enter password, and I say YouTube ordinarily, and you can see this is showing as a weak password. So that is how you build a password strength checker. Thank you so much for watching today's tutorial. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions or run into any issues while implementing this code, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I'll do my best to assist you. I have also attached the link to the code and explanation in the description. Before you go, please remember to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, of course. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. That way you won't miss any of my future tutorials and other types of content. Also, if you have any suggestion for future video topics or projects you'd like me to cover, please let me know in the comments. Your feedback is invaluable in shaping the content I create. Once again, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, happy coding and stay safe online.